Well, hello again, YouTube. Matt coming back to you with another video. It's been a little while. I apologize, but I'm here. Let me say up front, I apologize for any background noise. I'm sitting out on my front porch right now. There's a slight thunderstorm rolling through. You might hear traffic or thunderstorm noises in the background. Again, I apologize, but I figured what better time to film this video than when I'm just sitting here anyways. So, as you can already tell from the title, I'm going to be addressing a topic. I'll be addressing Memorial Day as a holiday. And I'm probably not going to say anything you haven't heard before, or that a bunch of people out there won't say better. I'm really nobody. I'm just a regular person, like all of you. You can find many people to speak on this subject that are far more eloquent and qualified than me. But nonetheless, I felt compelled to make this video regardless of that fact. If so, for no other reason than to offer the perspective of just the average, everyday person, and maybe for anybody else that's older out there, an older American, to hopefully see and be encouraged by a younger person having this viewpoint, or maybe be angry at it. I don't know. How you react is up to you. I can't control that. But in this video, I wanted to address what Memorial Day is and what it actually means. It's my fear that too many people in this modern society, 2024, just kind of view it as, a time to get together with your family, to go out to the beach, or to have cookouts, or, whatever other activity you do, a day off of work. And don't get me wrong, all of those things are important. There's a great place for that. And it is important to celebrate the freedoms we have as Americans. That's huge. And, and I'm not trying to take anything away from that. What I'm trying to encourage us all to do is to remember what the purpose of Memorial Day actually is. I mean, it's in the name, memorial. You're supposed to remember, memorialize something. And that thing that we're supposed to memorialize is the deaths of all of the United States servicemen and women who have perished in wars throughout the years, sacrificing their lives so that we can sit here on our front porches enjoying a glass of pink lemonade and celebrating the freedoms that they fought so hard to give us. So, from one lowly young American, thank you for your sacrifice. And I know it is about the people who died, but thank you as well to all active and former military people who are still living. I have never had the pleasure to serve. Obviously, look at my physique, I'm not qualified whatsoever. But I'm at least trying to do hopefully the next best thing I can do, which is to be an informed citizen and somebody, hopefully, that you consider worthy of dying for, if that's even a thing. I don't know. But anyways, Memorial Day. I was just at work today, and I was listening to the radio. I had the radios on. The radio host comes on in between songs, and he says, what are you going to do for Memorial Day? You going to go out to the beach? You going to go out and have a cookout with your family? And that's, as I said before, that's all important stuff. But it's not the purpose of the holiday. And I just, again, to reiterate, I know I've said this before, I want to encourage everybody to remember what the purpose of this holiday is. I believe it dates back, Memorial Day dates back to around 1870, maybe a little prior to that. Came into being, I guess, sort of unofficially, a little after the Civil War, to remember all the sacrifices of the men who died in that. And just as some brief history of what we're supposed to remember, I looked up a few stats on my phone. I'm going to pull it out because I obviously don't have this memorized, but I was just curious how many people have died serving our country, throughout the years. And I pulled up a Statista webpage. If I remember, I'll insert a screenshot of it here for you. But according to their numbers, about 620,000 Americans died in the Civil War, about 405,000 in World War II, 116,000 in World War One, just a little under 60,000 in Vietnam, around 36,000 in Korea, around 25,000 in the Revolutionary War, 20,000 in the War of 1812, and then down from there throughout various other smaller conflicts. So just based on what I can see here, that would probably put the number at conservatively around 1.2 million people who have died throughout the years in service of our country. And just want to take a moment of silence and remembrance and gratitude to all of them. And if it's a time for prayer, if you're religious, maybe a quick 5-second prayer, a thank you to them will be good. Thank you for joining with me in that, if you did. So, 1.2 million Americans have perished in the service of this country, and I know there's some discrepancy about that. There's thoughts that the number could be even higher for the Civil War or World War II, because it's hard to accurately track deaths given the chaos that's going on in war, but we'll just say 1.2 million for the sake of argument. As of 2020 census, if you were to take that 1.2 million number and make it a state, it would be the 42nd most populous state. Now, I know that's not super high, but it would fall between Maine and Montana, who have 1.3 million and just over 1 million people, respectively. That's just to try to put into context how many people have died throughout the years. It would be a whole state's worth, the whole state of Maine. Imagine them just being gone one day. That's how many people have died, conservatively. But, well, no but. I just think that that's important to remember in this holiday season. Back in the 8th grade, I had the pleasure of being able to go and visit our nation's capital. I was a young child at the time, so at some point I want to get back there, maybe even this year, we'll see. But some of the memories that stick with me the most, even now as an adult, here 20-something years later, were visiting the memorials, especially for World War II and Vietnam. And, when I'm reading off those numbers, 1.2 million or the 42nd most populous state, it's easy for our brains to kind of compartmentalize that, to kind of rationalize it away and not really realize how big or vast of a number that is. And being there to see the memorials, especially the one I remember the most is the Vietnam Memorial, that giant wall of all of the names of the people who died in that conflict etched on it, and how it just, stretched on the whole way, this whole big wall with all these names on there, and how much space it takes to etch them all in, and just, a fairly small engraving. That war only killed, less than 60,000 people. I shouldn't say only. It killed less than 60,000 people, and yet they need so much space to write down the names of the people who died there. We went to Arlington, and you can just see rows and rows of tombstones stretching out as far as the eye can see, and if you've never been, seeing those things puts into context the number of people that have really died for this country. And I know the United States today is more divided than it's ever been. It's like left and right, and we're all at each other's throats all the time. It's just crazy. My hope is that, the sane, rational people out there, there's crazies on both sides. There's people who can't be reasoned with, that's a given. But by and large, most of us in the United States of America are just normal people here trying to live our lives. And that's who I'm trying to talk to today. Don't forget the reason for this holiday. That doesn't mean don't celebrate, but take a moment to actually genuinely reflect on the people who have sacrificed for us to give us the freedoms that we have. And then, maybe be willing, and I include myself in this, in what I'm about to say, maybe be willing to stand up yourself, even if it's not to serve in the armed forces. There's a lot of chaos happening in this world. And, depending on how you feel, there's people out there who are trying to take away our way of life as Americans, trying to damage it, trying to do away with it altogether. And if you're in the know, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. World Economic Forum, just to name one, talks about a great reset. You can find this information in a lot of places. It's not conspiracy theory, it's fact. You just have to look online and do your own research. But I digress. That's getting off topic. Educate yourself. Be aware of the meaning of the holiday and what's behind it, and be willing to stand up and do something to try to preserve the freedoms that we've gotten to enjoy as Americans for the next generation. Because if we don't, my fear is that America as we all know it, people my age and older, is going to be gone very, very soon. And this video isn't meant to be any kind of call to arms. It's just, I'm hoping it just might reach somebody and compel you to just do a little more digging. I know we're all very busy. We all have lives to live. Many have families and kids to feed and food to put on the table and whatever else. But it takes 5 minutes to do your own research, 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes. Listen to a podcast or whatever on your drive to or from work, whatever it is. Be aware. Be an informed citizen. Don't just react on emotion. And just do the best we can. That's all we can do. We can all just do the next right thing. And because I, for one, don't want all the sacrifices of our men and women who've died and living, and all the stress that living veterans who've seen combat have to deal with. I don't want that all to be in vain. I apologize that this video's gotten a bit rambly, but it wasn't really scripted. There was a lot of stuff I wanted to say. This was just kind of coming straight from the heart. So I'm probably going to think of a million things I wish I would have said after this, but I feel like it's dragged on long enough. If you made it all the way through this talk, I hope you found it meaningful, and I hope you connected with me. I hope it helped you. And if you did watch, thank you for watching, and assuming I managed to get this up before Memorial Day, have a great Memorial Day. Be safe, all that. Enjoy the celebrations, but don't forget why we're blessed enough to have it. That's it for now. Thank you for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one.